guys, so I am dating expert Hayley Quinn. I hope you know who I am from all the newsletters. Now, it is my delight and pleasure to have introduced you to a very super special guest, Miss Sarah Rose from Tantric Activation. Thank you for coming in and speaking to us again, Sarah.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me, Hayley.
And we have a little confession to make in that we did, I think, like, it was one of the best webinars I have ever done with your help about sex, seduction, what basically happens at that amazing moment where you actually have a woman that you're interested in, or maybe more, in your bedroom, and you have that opportunity to have sex. And then we lost the recording.
I was thinking about it. I think maybe we kind of did it on purpose because we just love hanging out so much.
Yeah, I think so. But you lucky guys. So I was able, thankfully, to somehow convince Sarah to come back again just to do this short interview, so that, because I know I got literally, my inbox exploded, not to sound too much like an innuendo, with emails from guys who either watched it and really wanted the recording, or who missed it and were really sad that they missed it. So I wanted to make sure that we were able to give like some of the main teachings to everyone, because I thought what you were saying was super valuable for the guys. I am a self-acknowledged non-sexpert. I find it kind of embarrassing, and it's just not my strong point. And I think what's important to all of you guys listening is to, listen to people that are experts in their specific field. I would really love to help you get girlfriends, to get dates, to feel more comfortable approaching women. However, Sarah is the guru when it comes to Tantra and sex, and she coaches both men and women on the subject. So I wanted to know the limitations of my own knowledge and hand over the baton where appropriate to Sarah to kind of talk you through a little bit about what she does. So I don't know if you want to kind of introduce yourself to the guys, or for those who haven't met you, and talk a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, thanks, Hayley. Appreciate that. Good to meet you all. I'm Sarah Rose. I'm the founder of Tantric Activation, and I am a sex coach. I specialize in men's sex coaching. I've also coached women a lot that have a perspective from both. And being a woman, of course, that gives me perspective on a woman as well. But I'm here to give you insight into what she really wants in bed, what she's really desiring when she finishes having sex with you, what she's thinking, what she's wishing had happened, and just helping to guide you through that, but really giving you the tools, the actual step-by-step process of this. These are the foundations of how you can become a sexual master and an advanced lover.
That's amazing. And it's also, I notice every time you speak, I connect so much with the values that you talk about. You don't just work with men or women, you work with both. So you're trying to address how a sexual experience can be better for both sides of the story. You have that real empathy and understanding. And you're also super practical, because I think it's great talking about like manifesting stuff. I know you're going to go right in there and give some tips. I also know so much that you are much more candid than I am. Whilst I might feel like a little embarrassed talking about some of this stuff, you're able to be so direct. So I'm going to kick it off by, I guess, asking, and I know this might seem like an obvious question, but why do you think it's important for men to kind of work on this area of your life? Or what experiences might they have with women, not just in the bedroom, but in their wider relationships with women, if this isn't an area that they handle?
Yeah, it's really important. Our sexuality impacts our entire lives. And so even in the dating world, if a guy is going out and he's meeting a woman, he may be able to feel confident in his dating techniques, but if he doesn't have the sexual part of it mastered, then he's that doubt of, okay, well, maybe she's going to want to date me, but maybe I'm not going to be able to satisfy her in bed. That doubt will come through, and she'll be able to feel that. She won't know exactly where the insecurity is coming from, but she'll feel that insecurity. So being able to know that you can satisfy her when you do eventually make it into the bedroom really helps with the dating process. But it's also so much more than that too. It helps at work even. Just think about the last time you had really great sex. The next day you're just beaming, your chest is, shining bright, and you're just like, yeah, that was awesome. You can tell, like, when somebody is really having good sex, the way they show up in the world, it shows up in their body language. It shows up in the way that they're able to talk to people, the confidence they have. in every aspect of their lives. So
and I know you're saying this because I also know I can say that Sarah, and just give it a backstory here, guys. Sarah and I met through a mutual friend when she happened to be in London, and we immediately totally hit it off. And I was like, okay, I have to share some of what Sarah's been telling me about with you guys. But I also know we were in the club and Sarah like seemed to have like a sixth sense for guys who are projecting that kind of sexuality and sexual energy. And it's so like ephemeral, it can be hard to put your finger on it, but it's something that anecdotally I hear women talking about all the time. They're like, they just have a vibe or a feeling. And that can seem like, yes, but what is that? And I think it's true. It's from being in touch with your sexuality and that knowledge that you can provide an amazing sexual experience for a woman. And whilst I'm on that point, whilst I want to really encourage everybody, I think you also brought up on the webinar a really valid point, which is if you don't experience a sexual connection with the woman, and that could be for a bunch of different reasons, and maybe we could talk, maybe Sarah, you're probably the best person to talk about what maybe not great sex is all about. That can lead to the woman experiencing distrust and a disconnect in the relationship dating experience. So I think not only if you work on this area of your life, does it really help to make your approaching and for you to connect with women better, but I think if you kind of, it's not something that you look at, I think that that also can have a negative ripple effect through your relationship. So maybe for the guys out there who might have a slightly different view of what great sex is, can you explain what feels like great sex for a woman, what makes it great sex, and also what might be a sexual experience that leaves her feeling a bit distrusting or a bit cold?
Well, of course, for every woman is going to be different. We're all individuals and we enjoy different things. Different things turn us on, different things satisfy us. But generally speaking, it's more than just the sex. It's being able to connect with her on a deeper level where she really feels that you're present with her, that you're connected with her, and that she has been satisfied, that her satisfaction is your priority, that's what you're there for. You're not there just to get off. We can all masturbate, pleasure ourselves, and we don't need a partner for that. And so if we're going to have sex with somebody else, then it's more about just having an orgasm, because we can do that without a partner. So if we're with somebody, there needs to be the deeper connection that's happening. And it can take a lot to satisfy a woman. It really can. We can, I was recently with a woman because I'm bisexual. I have sex with both.
I know, I saw that on your Instagram and I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah, and I was like, it'd been 6 months since I'd been just with a woman. And I was reminded of how difficult it really can be to satisfy a woman. For one instance, like one thing I do teach women is how to orgasm more quickly, because we train our bodies and then we're able to more easily. But if a woman hasn't trained her body in that way, it can really be a challenge to satisfy her. And even for a woman who can orgasm easily, it's not always just about how many times did she come. It's about, did you really satisfy me? Did you really fulfill me? Is that hunger that I have, that burning desire that I have, satiated? And that's going to be different for every woman, but staying with her until she gets there will help her know that she can trust you. And if she can trust you in bed, then she's going to be able to open up to you in other parts of the relationship. But if she's being let down every single time that she's in bed with you, then that is going to impact the relationship negatively.
I love all the points you made there, especially about the one about things being co-created. So also for guys, we definitely, Sarah and I share the value system that we're not here to be like, oh, it's all on you and you have to do this most amazingest performance, otherwise she won't like it. Because all interactions, whether it's the first approach or the first date or the first time you are in bed together, there's two sides to that story. However, the best thing you can do, whilst you can't control her actions or her reactions to you, you could have your best kind of intention to facilitate the right experience for her. And what Sarah's coming back to is that idea that by creating that satisfaction, showing that you understand her needs and her body, you're starting to lay a foundation of trust within the relationship. And I think something that I wanted to pick up on, which is a common theme I think we stumbled across when we're talking about our teachings, is that sometimes I think guys can get into this performance mode. I notice it when guys are approaching women, whether it's in the daytime or in a bar, they will be so in their own head thinking about what is the right thing to say, and it's all coming from a good space. But because of that, like, they're not really present to her. They're missing her cues. They're not really able to relate to her. She senses a disconnect and the interaction doesn't go as well as it could have done. I noticed that there's a common theme there between also that ability to be being present sexually. And I've heard comments from at least female friends saying, from a friend, saying things like, you know, he didn't make eye contact with me. I felt that he was just kind of trying all the positions that he knew about, but he wasn't really ever checking in with me or wasn't really noticing my reactions. So I don't know if that's something you found as well through what you teach.
Yes, absolutely. Because you can know all of the right things to do, all the sexual tricks you can do, you know, perform the performance of the year. But she'll still walk away feeling empty if you haven't connected with her. And so while those things are important, I'm not saying don't know those things. It's both. You've got to be able to cross over and enter into her world per se. So I teach guys how to do that. There are specific techniques that I work with guys on. And so every single session with me is going to incorporate these. So that way, when you're having sex, it will come very natural to you to be able to just drop into that space and be connected to her.
Right, that's awesome. And I know that one of the questions that came up a lot on the webinar was about porn. So I'm going to go right out there and ask you about it again. Now I'm already like shrinking away to the bottom of the screen, which is lots of guys were genuinely wondering though, like what your take on porn, you know, is it good? Is it bad? Is that how much is too much? So could you maybe explain from your perspective how you think porn impacts on particularly a man's sexual performance and view of sex?
Two questions that I get most are about porn and about penis size. Those seem to be like
let's do that as well.
the number one concerns that guys have. So in regards to porn, I think that porn has its place in society, and it's something that, you know, some people like, some people don't. There's an assortment of opinions around it. What I see is that porn is there for our entertainment value. And unfortunately, what guys often do is instead of just realizing that porn is there for entertainment, they think that maybe it's there for education, and that what they're seeing in porn is actually going to translate into bed with a real live woman, and it just doesn't happen that way. So when guys show up in bed trying to reenact things that they saw in porn, she's sitting there thinking like, when's this going to be over? Because it doesn't feel good. She's not satisfied. She's not connecting with you.
You know, I know quite a lot of women who like porn and some who really don't, but I think it's also, as you said, it's that idea of connection, but also sometimes I think just something that visually looks interesting or that's niche or stimulating and looks good on the screen doesn't necessarily translate to what feels good. And I think that could be a really big disconnect. I'm glad you brought up the penis size thing as well. I think we should launch right into that, because what I loved about your Instagram comment that you made about your sexual experience with a woman is that, of course, you were able to satisfy a woman as another woman with zero penis going on. So
yeah, I said, if I'm able to satisfy a woman with no dick, you've got this.
Yeah. So could you maybe have a chat to those guys out there who might be listening to this and feeling like a little uncertain, whether it's about penis size, but also there's other big issues that come up, you know, whether it might be orgasming a bit prematurely and kind of erectile dysfunction. Does that your teaching touch on that? And what could you say to those guys who have that concern and worry about sexual performance?
When it comes to penis size, I know this, and this actually really does come from porn also. A lot of conditioning comes from porn, because in porn you're shown men with large penises, and so that's what you're expected to believe is normal and what women expect. And while there are definitely some women that's what they want is a large penis, it's not all women. There are definitely women out there that feel more comfortable with an average size penis or even a smaller penis. And just as men come in all shapes and sizes, women come in all shapes. There's a perfect fit for everyone. So we all have different preferences. What you see in porn, once again, it's there for entertainment value. Don't think that that is actually real life. There's so many other ways to please a woman, you know, using your fingers, using your tongue, breathing with her, connecting. Tantra is one of the things that I use to help people connect, and it's an energetic connection. So it's not even as much about the physical as it is about the energy that's moving between you and her. And it's very satisfying to be able to experience that. Penis size, don't worry about it. Learn other things. Also, one great way that I find for women to have deep vaginal penetration, no matter what the size of the penis is, if she's on top. Like that's a really great way for her to feel you really deep inside of her. So you can always try that as well. In regards to premature ejaculation, my online course, Sex Stallion Training, really does give guys the foundation to help with this. So learning to strengthen your PC muscle, which is the muscle between your anus and your balls, the root of your penis, that area, that muscle needs to be really strong so that you can control your ejaculation. And so I give you this as a step-by-step process over the course of 7 weeks. But also going back to porn, if you're masturbating to porn or even not to porn, but in your masturbation practice, if you're just in there to get off and you're ejaculating quickly, then that is how you're training your body and your brain to ejaculate. So you need to train your body when you're masturbating to last longer, and that will help you last longer in bed. Not to say like, don't ever masturbate quickly, because sometimes that's fine, but you also want to train your body to be able to last longer. And what you're doing a majority of the time is what will most likely show up in bed.
I really love that. I think that's really good advice. And I also like the point that you made about how a guy's performing in bed, that for women, sex doesn't start the minute penetration happens. It doesn't end when the man orgasms. So we kind of actually, I think to become a better lover, we want to get a more 360-degree view of sex and take it away from just that one act. So I think hopefully that will also, if you can get yourself in that mindset, will also help you to depressurize issues around what you might feel about your penis size or sexual performance. And you know what? I did learn something from you, Sarah, as well. I've never heard of the term edging until I spoke to you on the webinar. So could you maybe just give for the guys out there who are like me, a little bit new to this, a little bit of explanation around what is edging, what is Tantra, what is this stuff that you're teaching about and that you're trying to share with the world?
Edging is a great practice, and in Sex Stallion Training, you'll have an audio guide that leads you through the edging experience. You'll be able to edge for 20 minutes, and it's guided, and so it'll tell you, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 not being turned on, 10 being fully turned on, ejaculating. So you want to get up to your 9.999 and then be able to drop back down to a 7 and then come back up and then go back down. So that way you're able to ride that edge and be in control. And so you're the one saying, okay, I'm not ready to ejaculate yet. She's not ready yet. And get yourself there and then bring it back down. And it trains you to be the one in control, because what happens to a lot of guys is it feels like their penis is a runaway train and they don't have any control of what's going down there. The sensations, the urge to ejaculate overtake them, and they literally, it happens. This trains you to be the one in control.
I love that. And I also think it's so good because I know you mentioned, which actually was quite a surprising fact, I think you said, how long is like the average sexual intercourse length before the guy ejaculates?
Yeah, so about 75% of guys ejaculate within 1 to 3 minutes of penetration. And so she's not going to be able to be satisfied. She's not going to be able to have those deep vaginal orgasms through penetration if that's happening. She can still have them if you're using dildo, if you're using your fingers, things like that. But with your penis inside of her, it's not going to happen in that amount of time.
Wow. I know that we've had to blast through some of the big questions. I just really wanted to share this information with all of you guys out there because I thought it was so valuable. And also just to start to, I know we've only been able to touch on a few subjects during the course of this call because, you know, Sarah's super busy with all of her work and coaching, and she was kind of like doing it as a mini favor to me. And seeing as we already messed up one recording, I wanted just to 100% make sure we gave something to all of you guys who were saying like, Hayley, where's the recording? And I'm like, no. But I know that also, Sarah, you've got some other things that you can give to the guys that are listening. And I've actually put, guys, if you look at where this video is, there should be a big red button beneath. And if you click on that, there's some free videos for the guys out there so they can start to learn a bit more about this.
I have a course that I did that you will all receive as part of being on Hayley's list and part of this webinar called Pussyology.
You know, I didn't write the name of the course in my email. I was like, too shy. I was like, I can't write it. I'm going to leave Sarah to explain all of this on the call.
So in Pussyology, I will show you different pleasure spots on a woman's body and teach you how to pleasure her in those different areas.
And it's pretty cool. You have a, well,
yes,
I don't know what you call it.
A fake pussy, like a silicone mold of a pussy. And I'll actually go through and show you like, okay, touch here, go like this, put your fingers here. All this stuff.
So guys, if you want some practical intel, or you just think, you know what, I think Sarah's awesome and I just really want to see her doing that, then whatever your reasoning, if you click the big red button beneath this video, you're going to be able to get access to that. So hopefully for all of you that felt like you missed out on something there, hopefully you don't feel like you've missed out so much anymore. I think personally, to work on your sexuality, not only are you empowering yourself as guys and working on your personal development, you're also going to make women happy out there as well. And I think that's what we're all meant to be there for, aren't we? Just meant to make one another happy and feel connected. So I've really loved Sarah's message, and I just want to say thank you so much for taking this extra like 20 minutes out of your schedule to come on the call and offer this information to the guys today.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
Okay, I will look forward to seeing you soon. And that's it, guys. Remember to click on the link below to get that course that shall not be named, but has loads of good intel in it.